My earliest memories of my father was probably when I was between the ages of 6 and 8, and I could remember seeing him on stage working, and of course here I am at this hair show and tugging on his pants and asking him for a couple quarters so I could go buy a yo-yo that whistled and spun and lit up. Even before that, I have brief little picture memories of even playing with my toy cars in my father's salon. My father, Paul, wanted to be an actor. He told his mom, and his mom said, you know, Paul, I think you should do something that can earn you some money. His mom was a hairdresser, and his mom's mother was a hairdresser, so he would be third generation. My father said, oh, I don't want to do that. His friend was an actor, and he saw the money that he was making. So he went with his friend to get his hair cut, and he saw the tip that his friend had given the hairdresser. And that's right there when he thought, here's a place where I can earn some money. Little did he know that he would excel in it. So he won all of the awards back then, and Paul, at his peak, was the top stylist in Scotland before he moved to London, and that's when he met Vidal and started working in that exciting era when things were brand new. And suddenly here was a man, and the man's name was Vidal Sassoon. He started to create hair cutting with a technical background. So it was a wash and wear hair, so it wasn't a set anymore. It was the first exciting salon in London. It was the most happening thing. No one was doing it. Vidal had a hair show to do on the Queen Mary from London to New York City. But last minute, Vidal couldn't do it. So he asked Paul, who was his next choice. And that's how my father actually got to New York City. So it was like the Beatles coming to America. It was this new wave of fashion and hair and makeup, and these guys that were coming from London were the rock stars and invading the US, and it was part of that time, and it was exciting, and music and rock and roll, short skirts, and these stylists were really just rock stars within New York City, and that's when things begin to bustle and get excited. And when I think about where it was back then in the 60s, I always say it was like Christopher Columbus seeing that the world was round when everyone was saying that it was flat. And to this day, I call Vidal every Thanksgiving and just say thank you to him. Then he says, you don't want anything? Are you okay? And I always tell him, you know, Vidal, if it wasn't for that decision, I wouldn't have had the opportunities that I have. And for that, I just thank you. As a visionary, Paul really was very creative with the way that he had even built his salons. So instead of even having corners where the hair would get trapped, he actually created curved walls where the corners were so you could sweep the hair and keep it even cleaner. So he had these ways of being able to think outside the box to make not just a salon a lot more functional and clean, but to put systems in place. My father's passion for learning and education truly came from the background that he came from. People wanted to learn more, and they wanted to learn how to blow dry and use a blow dryer, and how to cut hair in those beautiful geometric shapes, and little bobs and graduated bobs and triangular shapes, and it was just an amazing time.
We're shaking things up a little bit. I really believe it's a revolution.
And you must understand that before we started this business, we were pals for 10 years. We were real buddies for 10 years.
John Paul was my free consultant when we were starting this thing, and I said to him, hey, this is ridiculous, you know, let's just quit whatever we're doing and let's do it together.
Exactly.
Put full time into it.
Thank God we did that, huh?
Thank God we did it.
Thank God we did that.
What I enjoy most about doing hair is the opportunity to be creative. I always say I didn't become a hairdresser to trim hair all day. So that's why the educational part is really important to me. I think there's a difference. There's a good hairdresser and there's a great hairdresser. And what defines a good hairdresser from a great hairdresser is one that continues to do education, push themselves further. That's what's so important and powerful about what Paul Mitchell has to offer, is the continued education. For me to get into this business was very, very difficult. To be quite honest with you, when I started doing hair, it was the hardest thing for me to do. You would probably think that I was crazy to try to be in this industry that my father had already, one, passed away, two, was an iconic figure, and three, something that I had to try to live up to. People ask me what I may find my legacy to be, and to be quite honest with you, I don't like talking about myself. I think if you try to create your own legacy, then I think you're just forcing it. And then to be yourself, continue to strive forward, never settle for okay, always settle for best. Just be great, be who you are, and I believe that that's where a legacy follows. To be able to lead people and just to be good. So being from Hawaii and growing up there, there's a lot of terms that we use, but something that's very dear and close to me, and I love to get people to say it all over the world, and you'd crack up when you hear it in different countries. But in America, we say, when everything is good, we say, all right. But when we're in Hawaii, we say, all right.